I guess like coming out of high school, I didn't really know what to do because that's how I felt most alive. But yeah, I just felt like it was something that I couldn't live without, and so I had to give it a shot. When I was growing up, there was not really a lot of like Filipino artists in pop. My ex and I were together for 5 years, and we lived together for like a year and a half. And right now I'm in my petty phase.
Majority of people just don't want to put themselves out there, right?
I felt really lost about like what I was gonna do next, and I don't want to cry, but it meant so much when Craig and Garrett individually separately said that we're gonna ride this with you to the bitter end. I'll never forget that because I realized, oh my god,
Okay,
that's so embarrassing.
No.
What would have fucking happened if we had moved back? That you are a business. You have to be able to stand up for yourself and learn the business side of things in order to make something out of yourself. I don't ever want to get to that point where I've had everything and I still am not happy where I'm at.
Hello, you beautiful people. Welcome back to the Long Term Podcast. I'm your host, Admin Villa. Today, we have a talented artist and musician whose journey spans continents and cultures. She was born in the Philippines, later moved to Fort McMurray, and eventually settled in Edmonton, each place shaping her identity, artistry, and songwriting. Her music reflects the evolution of a young adult navigating life's changes in their early 20s. With a debut album that won the Edmonton Music Prize in 2024 and a highly anticipated EP releasing soon, her story is one of growth, discovery, and the constant pursuit of artistic purpose. HAIDEE is a phenomenal person, and I really, really admire her mindset, the grind, and just being very industrious. Like, you can tell she's very passionate about music, about sending the message out there that, hey, you're not alone, and just being fully honest with yourself. This has proved to be very helpful in her life, which I think could be helpful in yours too. If you're in the creative industry or just struggle with feeling content, this is for you. I think you could derive a lot of value into this episode. Everybody, welcome HAIDEE. Welcome to the Long Term Podcast.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, HAIDEE, everyone.
Hi.
Based out in Edmonton. And what first inspired you to get into music, and when did you realize you wanted to become an artist?
Yeah, I guess like coming out of high school, I didn't really know what to do. So I just thought of something that I would enjoy doing. And at that time, I didn't think that I could live without performing. And so I decided to take up music at MacEwan. And eventually, while I was there, I wanted to perform all over the city. And I knew that I wasn't going to get offered performances if I didn't have my own music. So I started looking into songwriting. And then while I was in university, I was also working at McDonald's in the summertime. And that's how I funded my first EP. So during like fall break and spring break, I will be at the studio finishing up the EP that I had put out in 2020. But yeah, I just felt like it was something that I couldn't live without, and so I had to give it a shot.
Yeah, no, you were working full time, going to school, and this is around your 18, 19.
Yes, I was 19 when I went to MacEwan.
Yeah.
And at MacEwan, for the music program, every semester you actually have to take 7 to 8 classes. And the classes are only offered once a year. So if you miss or fail a class, you have to wait another year to retake it. Yeah.
Did you just not sleep then? What did you?
I definitely drove myself insane. I met a lot of cool people there and made a lot of great friends and made a lot of relationships. But I think that at my time at MacEwan was, to be honest, the worst. My mental health was has ever been. And I think it was like a combination of like stress and like going to adulthood and like trying to figure out who you are and like what I wanted to do with my life. So it was a tough time, but I was really grateful for the time that I had been given to study and just think of music 24/7. I did for 3 years. And then I took the diploma exit, and basically all of my professors suggested that I just take the diploma because they asked me what I wanted to do with my career, and I said I want to become a recording artist. And so they were like, yeah, I think you have all you need for the 2 years and you should just go for it. And yeah, I've been hustling ever since.
Nice. And when you were going to school at MacEwan and you were also songwriting, right? And you were also making music, did it relate at all to what you were studying? Like, did you have projects where you could work on the songs? Like, did they kind of intermingle, or were they entirely separate?
It was entirely different because the program in MacEwan was focused on jazz and then contemporary music. So basically the whole program revolves around jazz, and there would be like maybe a week or two where we'll dive into pop or country, some blues, some, I don't think we ever did rock, but very little. It was very, my studies were not at all connected with the music that I was making. It was very different. And I started out as a pop and R&B artist, which now looking back, it didn't really resonate with me. And the first few songs that I actually ever wrote are on Spotify, which is embarrassing. And I don't like saying it because I'm like, oh my God, like she doesn't know. I didn't know what I was doing. It was like my first few takes. But I did kind of fall in love with the ability to like make something, especially like as a vocalist. I love vocal arranging and vocal producing. So I found that, you know, making harmonies and stacking ad-libs and coming up with like vocal parts is the most exciting part of making music for me. Not really the songwriting part. I used to like not claim to be a songwriter, but as I'm getting older, I'm like, you know what? Like, I think I am. Yeah.
Yeah, it's fascinating to look back, hey, and you initially, you didn't know what you were doing, right? But you still did it.
Yeah.
And looking back, right, you're like, oh, I could have done that differently.
Yeah.
I could have done this. I did that. I did this. But here you are, you know, since you came to MacEwan, or since you graduated, you've written all these songs.
Yeah. And I just wanted to perform. I was like, I will do whatever it takes to have a band and perform everywhere, because that's how I felt most alive, how I felt most comfortable. And growing up as a Christian and being in church like on Fridays and Sundays and spending most of my weeks revolving around music and being on a stage, there was just something very special about being able to share and interpret how I interpret the music through my voice. So that was something that I just thought I couldn't live without.
Yeah. What about performing do you like the best?
I've said this at another interview before, and I will say it again because it's the best that I could explain it. I feel like, especially when I was younger, I was really shy and introverted. I'm getting better at it now. But when I was younger, I felt that I couldn't be myself unless I was on stage. And my running joke is like I'm Hannah Montana, where it's like two different people. The person that you see like on the visuals and on stage is very different than like the person that you like talk to or like hang out with. I just feel the most confident when I'm performing. And like I said, like I think it is so special to be able to interpret certain melodies and certain lyrics and certain songs and the ability to make people feel how you think the song feels to you.
Yeah. I like the analogy of Hannah Montana, right?
Yeah,
Where
sorry. Oh my God, yeah. Like going back to that, my analogy is Pikachu. Like, like Pokemon?
Pikachu, sure.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I feel like I'm like when a Pokemon is like in the ball,
Sure.
and then when it's on stage, I feel like I'm like, you throw it and then it like becomes like Pikachu instead of like just like a ball.
And then
So,
you're evolving throughout the different stages too. So at the start you were a Pikachu.
Yes.
Yeah. But I don't know if you kept up with the series too. Like Pikachu didn't decide, he was given the opportunity to evolve, but he said no. Do you remember that scene?
I haven't seen it in a long time, but I definitely that was one of the shows that I enjoyed. Yeah. But yeah, like I always feel like I'm always like in a ball, but by the time I'm on stage, I'm like a completely different person, and it's been really fun because I don't think I'm like someone you would approach if you're like walking down the street, but especially when I'm playing shows, it's been so special to be approached by younger girls, especially like young girls of color, and for them to just see someone that looks like them on stage I just feel very proud that I can do that for them.
Yeah, well, we revere those people that that are similar to us, and they're doing something that we want to do. Right? If they're Filipino, if they're Black, they're Chinese, and I'm Filipino, I'm like a little bit of a minority, and I see this female, right? That's like, I'm female too, and it's like, wow, I could be that one day.
Exactly.
And so you get to feel the energy, especially if they're credible, if they've written some songs, and you get to learn from them, you get to feel their emotions and get to actually truly be in the moment with them, and that's how you can connect to a vast wide of audience.
Yeah, for sure. I definitely resonate with that. And I'm 26 now, and the more I think about it, the more I'm like, it is a really special spot to be in, and it's a privilege to be where I am right now and have a somewhat stable name in the Edmonton music scene. Because when I was growing up, there was not really a lot of like Filipino artists in pop. They were always like the ballad queens that sang really, really high notes. And while I love that and I like incorporate that in my music, I also am like, I grew up listening to Katy Perry, Avril Lavigne, Kesha, those Ariana Grande, and all those like pop girlies. And it's just such a special spot to be in, especially as a Filipino, because in our culture, it's not encouraged to pursue something in the arts or pursue something outside of being a doctor, being a lawyer, being like an engineer or a dentist or whatever. There's a certain expectation for us to follow a mold, and to break out of that and make something different I just think it's special to, not that I'm like a big artist yet, but to lay down the grounds and lay down the roots for that for future generations. I take the privilege that I am at very seriously, and I try to be really careful with it.
Yeah. Well, you mentioned that, yes, like a lot of Filipinos that do come to Canada, even like everywhere, like, yes, we revere the artists that make it. Like we always celebrate Filipinos that do succeed in art. They're in the Olympics, right? We're very proud of them.
Right.
But for the parents, for their kids, do they want them to pursue that endeavor? And for a lot of parents, they don't, because it's risky, right? Like, oh, you don't want to be the starving artist. You don't you don't want to be the individual, like the grown-up that's trying and fails and tries and tries and fails. Because realistically, majority of artists just don't make it, right?
Right.
That's the reality of it.
Right.
But it's just taken into enjoyment, like taken into the sacrifices. If you're willing to give it your all,
Mhm.
give it truly your all,
Mm-hmm.
you won't have to regret it.
Yeah.
Right. And it's like your parents are not in charge
Mm-hmm.
of who you're going to be. Yes, they do have an influence, but ultimately the decision relies on what you truly want inside,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because money isn't everything.
Yeah.
Right? It's not. And it's through constant reflection and about going through life and actually pondering about what you want. Like, what do you
Mhm.
want at the end of the day? Like, are you just following the path that society wants you to go through? Just the parents? Do you want to
Mhm.
just make your friends proud? Or do you actually want to do this?
Mhm.
And yeah, it's just a myriad of reflections and
Yeah.
self-reflection throughout the days. Like, how do I actually feel about this? Right?
Exactly.
And yeah, so how have your life experiences shaped the kind of music you create and the stories you tell?
Yeah, like definitely growing up as a Christian, really, I feel like that was my stomping grounds. And being a daughter of pastors, I was just in church so much and was singing all the time that I really honed my vocals, which I treat as my craft. Um, and with my life experiences, I think you can hear it with every song that I have out. I just try to reflect on what's going on in my life and have it um, and present it to the public as honest, as vulnerable, and as authentic as I could. Because I found that when I listen to music that does the same for me, I feel seen and I feel like, sure, like this thing that I'm going through is hard, but someone's already gone through it. So I know that I will be okay. And with the things that I've gone through in my life, whether that's like my upbringing in the Philippines or the relationships I have now or the career that I'm pursuing or just like even day to day and discovering something new about myself, I just want to make sure that I'm being honest to what my experiences are and how it makes me feel in hopes that someone who's listening and someone who comes across it will feel seen and validated in their experience.
Yeah. Every day there's always going to be problems, right?
Right.
I've come to the conclusion that you're never going to wake up and just have no problems. There's always
Exactly.
something to fix. There's
Mhm.
always a malfunction within maybe your device, maybe your internal equilibrium, maybe it's you're unsatisfied with your job, you want more money, you want to feel more connected. And if you just lay there for too long, things need maintenance, right?
Yeah.
And that's physical, emotional, spiritual, everything.
Mm-hmm.
And with the environment that we are in, right? Like we're going to have that struggle internally and we need to be able to experience catharsis, just to listen to that song and like, actually feel connected
Yeah.
and to talk to that friend and feel like, oh, I'm not alone, right? And if somebody out there can just listen to your song and go, huh, maybe HAIDEE's going through this exact same thing. It's like, oh, maybe my problem isn't so unique to me. Maybe
Yes, exactly.
she's going through the same thing, like the same heartbreak, or maybe the fight with the parents, maybe, the lack of friends that don't understand you. Maybe it's just the struggle with trying to make it as an artist, right? There's a lot of people within our society, they think that, oh, vulnerability is weakness.
Yeah.
But what it actually does is it actually connects us, right? When you hear someone who's being authentic and not in like a mopey way where they don't find anything good,
yes,
but in a way where, yes, this is what's happening in my life. And I'm sad right now. It's
like,
crippling.
it is what it is.
It is what it is, but I'm going to keep going at it. And I think that's the difference between being a pussy, and being vulnerable. Cause like I've I hear too often about people that go, oh, my life sucks and this, but they don't do anything about it.
Mm-hmm.
But here you are, right? You're trying to make something out of the pain and suffering that you've gone through, and just try to be truly vulnerable, right? To connect with people. And I
Mm-hmm.
think there's the hero and the villain, right?
Mm-hmm.
Donna Miller has this idea of they go through the same kind of childhood trauma, but the hero uses that pain and goes, okay,
Mm-hmm.
I experienced that pain. Now I'm going to prevent other people from
Yeah.
experiencing that pain.
Mm-hmm.
Can help, maybe be more authentic,
Mm-hmm.
maybe try to save the day. But the villain, he goes, oh, I'm going to use that pain to destroy the world, right? There's all these
Mm-hmm.
different narratives that we tell
Right.
ourselves, but it's, songs do that so beautifully well,
Yeah.
like so powerful.
Yeah. I think that's what's also so beautiful
Mhm.
about art, because
Mhm.
at the end of the day, as an artist, songs are only 3 minutes long, 4
Yeah.
minutes maybe, if
Yeah.
it's like
Yeah.
dragging.
And then a lot of people will listen to that 3 minutes for thousands of hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like you're saying about like the hero and the villain,
Mhm.
I think what makes art so cool is
Mhm.
in those 3 minutes you can be both. I could be the hero in this song and really embrace the pain, and in one song I could really let the pain out and just be angry, be frustrated, and dump it all in those 3 minutes. And I think that both feelings and both emotions lead to the same spot where it's like, okay, I'm good now.
Yeah.
You know, think that we need to go through and embrace those emotions, both good and bad, in order for us to come to a place that we become grounded and like learn from our mistakes. And it's also like not all about just like the pain and the suffering. Like I also write music that's really fun and really catchy, or really fun, and yeah, it's really catchy. But also just like things that are not serious. Like the other day I was writing about eating fruits with my friend, and it's my favorite song right now because every time we listen to it, and like we were working on it the other day, it's just silly and it's fun, and life is also silly sometimes, and we don't have to take it very seriously. And I love that art can capture those moments for us, whether that's like good, bad, in between, something serious, or just being silly.
Yeah, I like that. I mean, yeah, sometimes I take life too seriously. I'll be there and I'm just like pondering onto like the childhood traumas, or like what that person said to me, or like who I'm going to be 20, 30 years later. And is God really here? Death is coming, right? What am I doing with my life? But then at the end of the day, maybe you just need to eat some fruits with your friends, and have some, have a good laugh. It's just not that serious.
It's not that serious.
We suffer more in imagination than in reality, as Seneca would say. Like it's all amplified in here, right? But
I know.
In reality, it's not that bad.
Everything is not that deep. If you really think about it. Like I recently gone through like a breakup, and my ex and I were together for 5 years, and we lived together for like a year and a half, and like it really sucked in the moment, but now looking back, I'm like, you know what? That was really funny the way you dealt with that pain. And some of it are acceptable, some of it are not acceptable, some of it are valid. But at the end of the day, it's like, you're gonna be fine. Like it's not that deep.
Yeah.
It's just like another type of emotion.
Yeah. The worst thing that's happened to you is the worst thing that's happened to you. Like internally, like you may have thought like, oh, I'm never going to get over this, like at that time. Right. But eventually you'll just wake up one day and you go, yeah, I'm fine. Like, you just wake up one day.
You know what?
Yeah. And then like,
it's
why?
all fun and games.
Yeah. Like you think back and why was I so unhappy at that time? Did I really need to be? Like I didn't, but it's also good to like feel it through, right?
Yeah, sometimes you do. Because how would you know a sunny day is sunny if you've never seen it, a rainy day?
True. Yeah.
Right?
Too much sunshine causes a desert too. Too much of a good time, bad. Everything in moderation, right? What personal values or emotions do you try to infuse into every piece of music you make?
That's a really hard one. Sometimes I go through phases. Right now I'm in my petty
Petty.
phase. I've gone through like lover girl phases, some just like different parts of life, I guess.
Yeah. I guess so when you do make your music, it's like you're catapulted back into that time.
Yeah.
I think I was just on the treadmill earlier just after my weightlifting, and I was listening to Bartender by like T-Pain. Like bartender. And then it just like catapulted me back into 2019 doing Skip the Dishes.
Right.
And I was just like, I totally forgot about that time. That was such a fucked up time. Like I was so miserable, but this song like helped me teleport back. But I feel like,
Yeah.
you know, as an artist, it's probably more amplified. It's probably
Yeah.
a lot more
Yeah.
personal.
Like
'Cause, like
I can think
yeah.
of like specific like songs where I'm like, I came up with the idea of the song as this at this specific road.
Yeah.
Or my new song Tell Me. I posted this on Instagram the other day, but after we wrote the song, we didn't have like a bridge because we kind of like ran out of time. And so that whole week, it was the only song that I could think of. I didn't listen to anything else but that. And I listened to it every time I was in the car. If it was a 30-minute car ride, that was all that I was playing. And there was just something about it that I used to like look for songs that would understand the way that I felt. But then it was really, I felt really confident in myself that I wrote a song that reflected what I was going through and what I was feeling at the time that I wrote it. So leading up to me coming up with a bridge, I was actually in the shower and my sister was in my living room making a video on, she was just playing guitar and singing because she likes to sing too. And there was like no music, no anything. I was just in the shower and the 4 or 5 lines came to me and I just stopped everything and I was like on the floor. I had my voice memo and I held it close to my lips and I sang the whole bridge. And that same voice memo is what you hear in the bridge of the song that we have right now. We just kept it.
Oh, that's incredible.
Yeah.
Just popped out of nowhere.
It was
Hey.
just, yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes I think that songs and art are gifts from the universe. And my song Tell Me definitely felt like something that was just waiting for me to write.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was so random. It like hit me in the shower and I just had to do it. And then I sent it to my producer right away. I'm pretty sure I didn't even write down the lyrics of it before like voice memoing. I just like started doing it. And then when he heard it for the first time, he sent me another demo back with the voice memo. He didn't do anything to it. He just like left it in there as is. And then my jaw just dropped. And then he was like hoping that I like liked it and would keep it. And I was like, we need to keep that song or we need to keep that part, just the voice memo itself.
Yeah. And then every time you listen to that, you're just catapulted back to that you getting out of the shower.
On my shower floor, my bathroom floor.
That's awesome. Yeah, I think just you get so many ideas, right, when you're just randomly and something you just got to write it down sometimes, like record like a voice memo.
Sometimes when it's like I'm driving,
I'm
like doing this.
Write that down.
Yeah. I'm voice memoing. Usually like songs take like weeks, months to like complete. But there are songs like Tell Me where I come in and I don't know what's happening. And it's like, wait, like I'm feeling this way. Like no one warned me that I was going to be this kind of songwriting. It just like happens.
Yeah. How do you increase your creativity? Like like for me, I'd like to rest and like reflect, ask myself questions, you know, like sometimes they just pop up out of nowhere, but do you try to enhance it? Like, do you have like certain maybe foods or something, maybe like a papaya Or
Papaya.
I don't
That's
know.
so random. I don't know about songwriting because like I said, I tend to write from experience and just write about whatever's happening in my life. Sometimes, like I said, it just pops out of nowhere and I have to dig deep and find out what the emotion is about and what it's telling me. But enhancing my creativity, I usually don't write on my own. I feel very intimidated for some reason. But I love having co-writers. Sometimes I have a few friends that we meet every once in a while and we just come to the studio and we're like, so what are we going to write today? And then that's when the fruit song happened. I have a friend, she's like, so the other day I was thinking about apples, bananas, papayas, peaches, cherries. And then she was like, do you guys want to write a song to that? And I wasn't sold on it because I was like, this is the weirdest shit I've ever heard. And then the producer was like, you know what? That would be cool.
Yeah.
And then at that point, you just kind of let them take the lead and just support the idea that's happening between two people. And then we were like, wait, this is kind of fire.
Yeah.
So then I decided I was going to keep it for myself.
Yeah. Now that you mentioned that, brainstorming in a group is so powerful. Especially when it's somebody that's also open to novelty, that's also open to finding new ideas. I've been trying to surround myself with other content creators, with artists, or with people that are just open to new things, right? Because for majority of the population, not that there's no flack on them, right? It's just majority of people just don't want to put themselves out there, right? It's just they want to, but maybe the structure is a lot more important to them, right?
Right.
So they don't want to put themselves out there. Yeah. But with people that actually actively, want to sing in front of people and they take initiative and they're the one to make videos, they make TikToks, or they make cool masks and they invite people in, you gain so many ideas. And not only that, if they got the same kind of energy, the same frequency, you're catapulted into an island of just ideas.
You got to find your community.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's something that I've had to learn.
Yeah.
Cause being around people who don't really believe in the things that you believe in, it's like a shackle, it's wait, and they could be the best friend ever, but maybe they're just, they operate in a different way.
Yeah.
Right? And that's maybe if you want to be creative, don't hang out with those people,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's definitely very important to find your community. And I definitely would not be the songwriter and artist that I am if it weren't for the people that I found that saw what I saw for myself and trusted the abilities that I had. And also I trusted them with what they have. And it was kind of like a trade of okay, this is what I can do for you and this is what you can do for me. We can make something really cool together. And the people that I work with are my best friends in the whole world. I love them to death. And like I said, I wouldn't be where I am if it weren't for their love, their support, and their just understanding of who I want to become and where I want to take my artistry. I have my good friend Craig and Garrett. That's my drummer and my guitarist and producer.
Shout out to Craig and Garrett.
Yeah, I'm gonna send this to them.
Yeah.
But my ex was a really big part of my live shows and my collaborative process when we were together and when we weren't together. I remember calling Craig and Garrett and was kind of, I felt really lost about what I was going to do next. And I don't want to cry, but it meant so much when Craig and Garrett individually, separately said that we're going to ride this with you to the bitter end. And I'll never forget that because I realized, oh my God.
It's okay.
Ew, that's so embarrassing.
No, it's okay. Do you want? I wish I had.
No, it's
Kleenex
okay.
nearby.
It's just I'm gonna send it to them. And I'm crying about you guys. We're not like this. We don't do shit like this. That's so embarrassing.
Don't be
but it
embarrassed.
meant so much to me that they saw what I saw for myself. And they believed in me as much as I believed in myself. And because I would do the same for them. You know, like they're my family. They're my best friends. And to hear that from them, and then I recently just played Taste of Edmonton, and the feedback that we got from the crowd and from my parents especially, and just from the band in general, we really just locked in. It was the best show that we've ever played, and it was we rehearsed the same day. We've only met like for 2 hours and then played the show. But I just felt so supported. Like everyone knew what was at stake. It was my sanity to like know that no, we can do this. Like we got you. So yeah, finding your community is so important, because you're not gonna get anywhere if you're the only person that believes in you, and you're not gonna stay sane and grounded if you don't have people around you that will call you out on your shit if you're being delusional in like a bad way. And these people will also keep you humble, but they will also keep you in check if you need to be checked. And that's been my community for me.
Yeah. Well, clearly Craig and Garrett.
Craig
and Garrett. They've clearly made a massive impact into your well-being and like that belief, right? There's gonna be those days in the creative industry, right, where you're just like, oh, is this really right for me? And that self-doubt kicks in, and it's so imperative that you have people that remind you of why you started in the first place.
Yeah.
That remind you that, oh, you were at level 1 day, but now you're at level 10.
Yeah, I've been playing with them since I was 19, and I was in the studio with Garrett recording a song, I think on Monday, and I looked at him and I was like, you know, we've been working together since I was 21. And then he was like, oh my God, I had 1 kid that time. And now he's got like 2. He just like bought a house and everything. And I'm like, I'm 26 now. We've known each other for That's like incredible. That long.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've known Craig since I was 19. We met in like MacEwan. My bassist now, Ange, I've known her from MacEwan as well. Yeah. And I've just like found a really great group of people that I believe in, and they believe in me too.
That's incredible. Yeah. You just keep it long term, right? Every single day.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the theme of the podcast, right? It's just the people that are with you that make you who you are. You don't have to fake anything, right? You're just you. You don't have to put on a mask. They just accept you for who you are. They call you on your shit, but they uplift you when you need it. Those people who make you that consolidate that inner voice in your head that travels towards authenticity. But then when you deviate away from that, they reel you back in. And that's it's beautiful that you have that those types of relationships. And so how did moving from the Philippines to Fort McMurray and later to Edmonton influence your music and songwriting style?
I think I was talking about this earlier too. Basically the only thing that felt familiar to me was like singing and performing and being in church. It was something that anchored me from moving as basically a young adult or a teenager. I was 16 when I moved from the Philippines to Fort Mac, and it was very, very, very different and isolating than what I grew up in. I just had my mom, my dad, and my sister, and that was it. Then to move from the Philippines to Fort Mac, then to later be evacuated because of the wildfire from Fort Mac to Edmonton. It definitely made things interesting and a little bit harder. But when I won Edmonton Music Prize last year, oh my God, why is this like such an emotional day? Just like looking back at like everything. After I had made my speech and I made my way back to my family, I looked at my dad and he didn't say anything and I didn't say anything. And we just like looked at each other and smiled. Because when we moved from Fort Mac to here, we didn't know a single person and they didn't have jobs. because they were working at Fort McMurray, right? So we had actually lived in student housing at the U of A for, I think, 2 months.
Mm.
And at that time, Boardwalk had offered, they offered like apartments for free, I think for 3 months for evacuees from the wildfire. And that's that's where we moved. And my parents worked really hard for us to even afford the Boardwalk apartment at that time. And back in Fort Mac, because there's a lot of Filipinos that immigrated there at the same time and they were my parents' age, there was also a lot of Filipino teenagers that immigrated there the same year. So we had a really tight community. And here in Edmonton, we didn't know anyone. So that summer, when my parents decided that we were going to stay in Edmonton because there's nothing to go back to in Fort Mac, I remember sitting on a staircase with my dad, like begging him to come back, to go back to Fort Mac. I was like, you guys can't do this. Like, you just moved me across the world. We can't stay here. We can't stay in Edmonton. Like, we have to go back. And my dad was like very patient, was telling me, it's going to be okay. Like, this is for the best. And my last year of high school was definitely not ideal. I spent it by myself and just with one other friend. Like, she came to Canada that fall. We just buddied up and like got through high school together. I attended my grad, but I didn't attend the party portion of it because I was just so over it. I was like, I need to just like get my diploma and get the hell out of it here. Because I found that in the Filipino community here, no one wanted to be friends with me because they could smell the fob, is how I can put it. Which to some extent, if you're trying to be the cool kid, I completely understand. But it made things a little more difficult. So when I won a music prize, and it was very special because it was my debut album, and no one, no Southeast Asian, especially woman, has ever done that in Edmonton. And heading back to my dad and just like smiling at each other. It took me to that place where we were at the staircase, and I was like, what would have fucking happened if we had moved back? Like, I wouldn't even be able to have the ability to become an artist and like meet the people that I have met here.
Yeah.
If it weren't for that decision. So in that moment, I was like, okay, yeah, like I made their sacrifices worth it for this moment. But looking back, there's like so much work that went into it. But it definitely kind of one of those moments as a family where we were like, okay, we're all gonna be okay. We're doing something here. The sacrifices are not lost. It's all worth it.
Yeah. In retrospect, hey, maybe at that time it was just agony and you felt hopeless. It's like, oh, how am I gonna get through another? Yeah, I don't like it here. All my friends are in Fort Mac.
Yeah.
It's like, why? But eventually you'd look back and you go, wow, what would have happened?
Yeah.
I wouldn't have won this award.
Yes.
And that staircase moment, probably something you think about a lot, right?
Yeah.
I can clearly tell it's close to your heart.
Yeah. I don't want people to get the wrong idea, though. I don't believe that everything happens for a reason, because I think that there's a lot of bad things that happen in the world that should not happen, and a lot of situations that shouldn't happen. But I think it's up to us to make something out of ourselves and not stay in a place of self-pity.
Yeah.
And that's something that my family and I did.
Yeah. A lot of things happen, but it's within your control to be able to make something out of your life.
Correct.
Right? So what cultural or musical influences from your upbringing still play a role in your music today? And I know you mentioned some artists.
I remember right now, I feel like the music that I'm making is a reflection of the music that I listen to day to day. That's why this upcoming EP that I'm like releasing are my favorite 4 songs kind of ever, because I just enjoy listening to them on my own time because that's what I listen to.
Yeah.
But
Sorry to cut you off, but like I'm under the impression that you should only produce things that you yourself will listen to, will use, will actually promote, and actually have full kind of authenticity where, okay, you should listen to this because I listen to this,
Yes,
I believe
exactly.
in this, but yeah.
And it's easier to like find your audience and promote the songs, like you said, if you actually believe and enjoy the music that you're listening to.
Yeah.
From my first album, I had a lot of time promoting that song and locking in and really owning the narrative that I was telling. One, because I talked about a lot of heavy stuff in there and it brought up a lot of stuff that I had to like sort out in therapy. But also after my first EP, I had felt that I had to fit the mold that the Alberta music scene has. We were talking about this a little bit off camera. But although there's a lot of support in the arts in the Edmonton music scene and arts community, there is still a little bit of kind of pop artists gets pushed to the side in the city. And it's just like demographic and geographically, that's what happens. And that's okay. But when I was thinking about what was going to be the sound of my album, I definitely kind of wanted to prove all my non-existent haters in my mind that, hey, I can be a singer-songwriter, I can be a folk artist. You want to listen to like rock-driven tune? Like I can make a rock-driven tune. What about like a little bit more pop and a little bit more indie? So when you listen to my album from top to bottom, there's a lot of genres like blended into one. And I think that's because as an artist, I was having an identity crisis. Not an identity crisis as a person, but definitely as an artist, I just felt like I had to be what people would want to listen to in Edmonton. And it ended up working in my favor because I think from the album, I get a lot of respect from the community for the way it turned out. And I kind of showed myself that I'm versatile. But this next EP, I feel like I'm allowed to be myself as an artist and show people the kind of music that I love. And it's been really exciting to promote and make silly TikToks and silly Instagram reels and come up with like this whole world that people could, like there's like tangible things that you can have from this era that is so exciting. And I'm very excited for the release show that I'm putting out. We're taking it to Calgary too. And I'm just very excited because this is what I love listening to. This is what I enjoy. So I wish that I had done it sooner, but I also don't think that if I didn't go through that identity crisis as an artist, I wouldn't get to a place where I would have zero doubts about where I want to be next.
Yeah, it's incredible because if you ask people, oh, would you go back 5 years down, 10 years? And but then like a lot of people would say yes because, oh, like I would have all this knowledge. But at the same time, you're you because of all the things that you've experienced, right? You wouldn't be you without all these things, the identity crisis, or if it's like the crisis of not feeling like you in your songs, right? Having to put up something just because that's what the people want, right? And it's just being you in your art is something that you've discovered and something that you're proud of who you are now, which is phenomenal.
Yeah.
Right?
This is something that you said too, like speaking of regrets, you in the video that you found me, you were asking me if I have or what's my biggest regret. And like going back to what you said, I'm like, I don't have a lot of regrets.
Yeah.
like everything in my life has taught me lessons, and I am where I am because of the things that have happened. And there's things that I like wish never happened, and wish that I didn't have to go through. But at the end of the day, I'm like, no one has a roadmap of like where you're supposed to go and what you're supposed to,
Yeah.
what your life is supposed to look like. So just
Yeah.
how could I regret something that I don't know ahead of time, you know?
True.
And looking back, I'm like, you know what? It led me to this place. So who gives a shit, you know?
Yeah. Do you find that the music scene in Edmonton offers something unique compared to other places you've lived?
For sure. Like I was saying earlier, I don't think that I would be able to have a sustainable career as an artist if I didn't move to Edmonton. And without the resources and support that we have here, I can't do anything. Like I can't imagine like living anywhere else, or like compared to like when I lived in the Philippines and lived in Fort Mac. Like I'm really grateful to be here and be supported by arts organizations like Edmonton Arts Council, Factor, Alberta Foundation of the Arts, and all those organizations.
Yeah. Yeah. So, how does your upcoming EP differ in sound and style from your debut album?
Yeah, this time it's definitely straight up pop. I used to call myself like an indie pop artist because it was all over the place, but now we're just a pop star. We're very, very strictly just a pop star, which what I've always wanted to be. And it's just more mainstream sounding than what I've done in the past. And I'm really just excited to bring people to the world of this era. And yeah, like I talk about just what happened in my early 20s. And after the debut album, I definitely got burned out, and I felt like I had like nothing else left in me. Like I used to like go into studios and show up at writing sessions and be like, I have no trauma left, guys. Like I've spilled everything. Like I have nothing else to talk about. Like I need to be traumatized again for me to be able to like write something else. And literally that's what happened. It's like I manifested it. But yeah, this next group of songs I think is the best songs that came out of last year, because I was very intentional about the time that I spent in the studio, and I made sure that I only showed up when I was excited to write music, when it felt comfortable, and when I was around people that are just cool and nice and would allow me the space to explore those emotions. And I wasn't really planning on releasing an EP this year because I didn't know what I was going to do next. But when earlier this year, I got a call that I like got approved to make an EP, I just picked out the best 4 songs that came out of last year that like I listen to every day. And I was like, you know what? There is a common theme here, which is like finding yourself in your early 20s and trying to figure out who you are, what you're going to be, what if is the career that you chose the right path for you? Are you in the right relationship? Are the things that you've gone through in your life affecting the relationship that you have? And how do you move forward after discovering those and shedding some skin and leaving the weight that's like dragging you down, and just taking pieces of yourself that you can bring into the next chapter of your life. So I think that this EP is just the perfect end to my early 20s. I'm 26 now, and 20 to 25, it was really rough. There was a lot of great moments in there, but she was rough. She was rough.
Initially, you wrote with the lens of trauma.
Yes.
So, but then after releasing all these songs and doing a lot of self-work, going to therapy and discovering yourself, you have now kind of alleviated a lot of the symptoms and a lot of the turmoil that you were going through,
Right.
correct?
Exactly.
So like after that, you're like, oh, I have no more ammunition. You know,
Yeah.
what kind of, how do I fire? How do I keep
Yeah.
going? So, but now you've discovered that, oh, to be able to access this other, a more kind of optimal way of going about things instead of using trauma
Mm-hmm.
and hurting yourself in the
Mm-hmm.
process, right? Just going about it with comfort and ease and surrounding yourself with people
Yeah.
that uplift you, and just instead of a lens of trauma, it's a lens of passion.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there's still passion in the trauma side of the lens, but
Mm-hmm.
it's a lot more catered towards you now,
Mm-hmm.
the true you, you know, not the hurt you.
Yes.
Yeah. Is that?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm the same way too. I feel like I've heard this from this show called Midnight Gospel, where this a lot of successful people who are functional using drugs, right?
Mm-hmm.
Using alcohol, or maybe they have some trauma. They don't want to fix it because they fear
You just
that
want to
if
numb
you-
it.
Yeah, that your creative outlet or whatever is working, like you make a lot of money because of it, it goes away. Like you won't be able to write books anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And I was kind of thinking the same way too. I'm like, how am I able to connect with other people if I if I release myself from this invisible hand that's choking me 24/7? But it's actually a lot more freeing, right? It's like, you don't have to be in that state.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's not a happy life.
Yeah.
Yeah. So do you find that creatively, you've kind of like, you noticed a shift in there, the way you go about things?
Not necessarily like a shift to how I approach things. I think just like going back to what I was saying earlier, the music that I put out under my name, like obviously like I've written songs for like other people and have written songs for like TV, film, advertisements and all those different types of like genres and types of songwriting as well. But what I put under my name is usually like just what I'm going through, and doesn't matter if that's like the good stuff, the bad stuff, or like somewhere in between. It's just a reflection of like what's happening in my life. And it just so happens that in my early 20s, I had felt like I was running out of time. I was running out of time to fix my relationship, running out of time to figure out if this was the person I wanted to spend the rest of my life with, running out of time when it comes to all these other like artists that I knew and started with are now in Toronto, now in LA, and have done X and Y, and I've still been stuck here doing the same thing. And a lot of it came from like a place of insecurity, but definitely like embracing that, and again just being as honest as I could to what exactly is happening and how I'm feeling. That's always been the driving force of how I approach my artistry. And I really hope that when I'm 60, 70, I'm still making music, and I want someone to be able to look at my whole discography and be like, wow, like this is all of the eras and this is all the things that she's gone through. And for myself too, I'm like, it would be just so incredible to look back and see that I was able to share parts of my life as I was going through it.
Yeah. I think every single person is essentially like a startup, like a business, right?
Right,
And
exactly.
the way you go about life is just all these key fragments that make you who you are. And you can show the world and be a part of it, or you could just live a more private life. But for you, you know, you want to connect with people better, and you want to be able to tell others who you are, right? And for them to, instead of having to learn it the hard way, you can relay a message of maybe being more honest with yourself and being more accepting, and to try to show your true colors instead of pleasing what the crowd wants, right? And I feel like that's like a lot of artists, so that's what they do, right? That's what you do.
Yeah.
Where it's like, you guys don't have to go through what I went through, because I went through it, so you won't have to.
Or if you're going through it, then
you're not
I'm
alone.
someone that's gone through it and everything's going to be okay in the end, hopefully. I mean, I'm only 26.
Yeah.
But yeah, like going back to what you said about like business, as an artist, I think people forget, especially as an independent artist, that you're also a business. So there's like, to me, there's two different sides of me. When I'm a creative person, I'm very in tune with my emotions and all that. And as a businesswoman, because at the end of the day, me signing contracts, me trying to find a marketing team, a distribution company, how I'm going to market my songs, how I'm going to present myself to the world, the type of products that I'm going to put in.
Sorry.
And that's gay. And things outside of making music, I think people forget, and especially young artists that are starting, that you are a business. You have to be able to stand up for yourself and learn the business side of things in order to make something out of yourself and in order for you to make money off of it. I'm not a full-time artist yet, but I have found a sustainable way for me and have built a network of connections where the music sustains itself. And my day job, which is very different from what I do, helps me integrate that with my work as an artist and as a businesswoman to how I present myself as, sure, like this is HAIDEE as an artist, but there's also HAIDEE Manasal as a businesswoman. And I think that people forget that both go hand in hand, and you need to be able to stand up for yourself and be able to plan ahead business-wise and how you're going to make it happen as an independent artist especially. And it's really important, like what you were talking about earlier. You have to build long-term relationships with the people that you work with. And this is why I've worked with the same people since the beginning. And I slowly am like outsourcing from people from different cities and different parts of the world. But for me, relationships are so important because you're, like I said, like you're not going to go anywhere in life, anywhere in your career if it's not for the people that have your back. But yeah, like I said, I'm not a full-time artist yet. But I have found that my music sustains itself. So just a little tip and just food for thought that you, like young artists, if you want to go somewhere, start thinking of yourself as a business, as a businesswoman or businessman.
Yeah, you got to hustle out there. I mean, yes, maybe you got a great voice, you got some talent. If you give it out all for free, then it's free. Then you can't make it a living. Like, you can't buy food with your singing.
It's really, it's a very interesting and great. Well, yes, it's interesting, and it's a great time to be an artist now because would I know people shit a lot on Spotify and all the streaming platforms, and I do wholeheartedly agree that they do not pay artists enough. But at the same time, this is a great time to be an artist because you have all the tools that you need. You have TikTok, you have Instagram, you can reach out to playlist creators if you wanted to promote your music. You have everything that you need at the tip of your hands to make something happen. And there's no excuses anymore. Like, the world is open. Like, your audience and the people that you want to reach are one video away, one song away, one repost away, one follow away. And that's definitely something that I have just learned recently, where I'm like, if my music is not streaming 10 million streams, then I haven't reached the right target audience, the right people, the people that need the music. And I just feel like I've had my spark back, and I feel really determined to find those people that need the music. Because if I love it as much, like someone else also probably will, because there's 7 billion people in the world. If you get like 5,000 streams, that's 5,000 streams. but also there's 7 billion people in the world. You need to start working now. Like, there's no excuses.
Yeah, I'm big into content creation. I've been really passionate about it for I've been taking it seriously for 1.5 years now, because that's all I do. I've probably listened to like 10,000 hours worth of podcasts, right? And like, if I'm willing to listen to my own stuff, then yeah, there's got to be someone out there. Like, if 10 people would, then if you've exposed it to 100 people and 10 people listen to it, like they really like it, how can you expose it to 1 million people? And even if like 10% of that million like it, that's, I can't do the math. Is that like 10? Is that 10,000 or 100,000? 100,000, right? That's 100,000 people, you know? And you just have to keep marketing yourself and keep on going. Cause like you said, there's 7,
you're
8.
Business.
Yeah, you're a business. And I think I have a friend that's extremely talented. He's very, very well spoken. He also makes music. He's tried country. He's tried rap. He's writing a book now. And I really believe in him. But his problem is he doesn't really know how to tell people about it. You know, he's like, oh, that's cringy. Like, why am I gonna go out of my way to tell everyone about it? But like, you have this product, but if no one knows about the product,
exactly,
if no one has ever tried it, how are you supposed to know if it's good or not? If it's shit, you'll know right away. You'll know after 100 times that the people have read it. Like, if there's 100 people and if no one likes it, okay, maybe you should improve. But if you've got 100 people that read it and the 100 people, they all like it, you're doing something right. And within the content creation space, like within YouTube, I'm part of the subreddits there. I'm in contact with a lot of creators and a lot of people that really want to make it, right? And there's this narrative in the content creation where, oh, the algorithm sucks. You know, the YouTube algorithm, it's not for me. Like, it's out to get me. I'm shadow banned, right? I'm sure you hear this about Instagram.
Oh, I definitely felt like that.
Yeah,
like...
this one only got 200 views. Like, what? If you look at the analytics, yes, it's only got 200 views because it sucks. Like, that's the reality of it. You know, like, you could blame it on, oh, like, people just don't have attention spans anymore. People just don't have this. Play the game, follow the rules, and do what works. Because if you constantly blame that, oh, it's just because, you know, like this I'm just not capturing my audience or this. Yeah, like, do something about that. Like, what can you do instead of complaining and going, yeah, I'm getting shadow banned. Like, it's because I'm in this country. It's because I'm still living at home. Okay, what can you do? You know, what are you doing right now that's working? Keep doing that. What are you doing right now that's not working? Change it up. You know, you see that with the podcast. I see that, oh, this type of reel works and this doesn't. Okay, I'm going to keep doing this reel. Yeah. And then if not, you just keep trying, because eventually, after decades of repetition, you get what you deserve, right? Like, if you're constantly a dick to everyone, you're just going to have no friends. You get what you deserve. And if you're nice, if you're genuine, you're just going to have long-lasting relationships. You know, it applies to relationships, to health, to art, to who you are. Through a long enough time frame, you get what you deserve.
Yeah, exactly. Like I was saying, there's two sides to like being an artist, and I wouldn't call myself a content creator, but you absolutely need to find a way to find those people that would want to listen to your music and watch your content and really enjoy it. And a really good way to kind of compare the creative side and the business side is every time I've met with A&Rs, they would always say that the amount of money that you spend making the music should be the same amount that you put towards marketing. Whether that's like visuals, getting a marketing team, putting money towards Facebook ads, or learning how to do that yourself, or spending time like making TikToks and all that. And I'm someone that I actually don't like being on camera. Like, it makes me feel really self-conscious.
Really?
Like, I do not enjoy it. It's my least favorite part. But I just had to get over that. And what really helped me is like having great music that I'm really proud of. That I used to like, when I was younger, if my song is being played in a room and someone I know is playing the music because they know I'm coming, I will leave and wait for the song to be finished and then come back, because I just couldn't listen to myself because it felt so vulnerable. But now I'm like, you know what? You got all these platforms. And I have this good friend of mine. He streams really, really well. Like most of his songs are in the millions. And he just hustles. And before his one song blew up, take a guess how many videos and TikToks he's posted just for that one song.
100.
400.
Wow.
Before that song blew up on TikTok.
Damn.
But now he's got like a very loyal set of followers that whenever he releases music to, if you capture the attention of 10,000 people, the minute your song comes out, you have 10,000 listens.
Yeah.
You know?
Loyalty goes a long way.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Especially they love it when they found you like at the very early stage of your career. So what I actually have done, like, I have a burner account on TikTok. I made my old one private and took off every single follower, and I just kind of made it my spam. Then I started a new one just to spam not my friends, but new set of people, 4 TikToks a day of the same set of same 30-second or 15-second clip of my song. And I think I've only had that for a month. Like I have 50 followers, but I have like 4,000 likes, which is in the grand scheme of things, not a lot, but that's 4,000 new people. So I just had to keep going.
Yeah.
In order to survive in this industry or like make something out of yourself. I mean, I'm not where I want to be, but you have to be so delusional. And what I keep telling myself every time, I'm like, these days, like for me, every minute counts. Like every minute I'm like doing something. I have to be somewhere. I have to be doing this. I have to be posting this TikTok, making this phone call, like taking this email. And it doesn't matter if I'm on my day job, I'm working on music, or I'm driving, making a phone call and like making time to take that meeting or like take that phone call, take that opportunity. But sometimes when I like get tired during the week, I just like remind myself I am so thankful to even be able to do this and have the music industry be set up the way it is where I can put music out there. That's pretty incredible. Like I don't need a label. Like what do you mean? You know, like I don't need to impress Scooter Braun, the big managers. I don't have to impress Republic Records, Warner Records, Universal Records for me to put music out there and find an audience. And it's just time to grind. And I think I was saying earlier that, yeah, like every time I'm like tired and I like kind of doubt myself this year that I'm like, are you like gonna make it? Like what's gonna happen when you do this, when you do that, when you're older? I'm like, no, it will literally work because you're fucking insane. There's no way it's not gonna work just because you're so stubborn. Like it's gonna happen. So you just kind of have to put your head down and ignore the circumstances that is around you, and you have to be the first person to believe in yourself.
Yeah. You have to be so obsessed that it's on your mind 24/7.
Mm-hmm.
And you know that meme where it's like 2 miners, the one on top it's like farther away and like there's a diamond that they can't see because it's on the other, but you can see as a third person. And then there's this guy in the bottom, an older guy, and he's quit, but his diamond is so close. You just need kind of a few more hits, and he's already given up. But I feel like that's the creative mindset, you know, like a lot of people can't withstand the mental turmoil of, creating the song and then have 2 streams, you know, and then, creating another song 10 streams, and then another song 5 streams, and it's just
For
like
sure.
fluctuates. And then you put in so much work. You put in 10 hours to this one song or this one video, and it gets 5 views, 0 likes, or it gets, you invite your family and it gets 30 views, but like the retention rate's like 1%. Nobody's watching it. But you really gotta be delusional. You're like fucking crazy.
Yeah, you have to be delusional.
You have to go, I keep on going. This didn't work. I'm going to try another thing.
Yeah.
I'm going to keep on. I enjoy this.
Yeah.
This is something that I enjoy this. I'm proud of this. You have to have a narrative that supports your mental health. Because if you go with the poopy pants mentality and you're attacking your own mind, you're going to lose. You're going to give up at the slightest bit of pain, because it's going to be a painful journey. It may take, some people get lucky. It takes them 1 year to be able to make it, right? But then it takes some people 5 years. Some, it takes 20 years. And you have to be able to withstand, to stomach all the rejection in your own head,
Yeah. Last year, it's funny because that's when I won the award, but also I felt the most defeated in my career, because at that point I had been making music for 5 years, and I felt like now looking back, the narrative that I had in my head wasn't true about, I've been at the same spot. But then now looking back, like a few years after, I'm like, that was simply not true. Like there was progress there. And what I'm learning this year, just being able to focus on myself and my craft and how I want my life and my future self to look like, you have to be the first person to bet in yourself and invest in yourself, because music is fucking expensive. You have to find a way to support that, because no one else will if you don't.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm learning.
Yeah. No one's coming to save you.
No one's coming to save you. And not no label these days, I don't think, is going to come across a song that has 10,000 streams and say, they're very talented, let's make them a superstar. That just doesn't happen anymore. Labels are focused on finding someone that already streams well, and we're talking like tens and millions of streams, because labels are not interested in making someone famous. They're interested in profiting out of somebody's art. And that has worked for a long time. But in the grand scheme of things, I think I have like 6,000 monthly listeners right now. No one's going to want to take me.
Pretty
and
sure
I have
it's
to
8,000. Pretty sure.
I don't think so.
Monthly listeners, pretty sure it's 8,000.
Maybe.
You want to make a bet?
I think it's 5. It's around 5.
I'm pretty sure it's 8,000.
Maybe tomorrow when I wake up, it's 8,000 manifesting. But like I said, like in the grand scheme of things, that's nothing. And if I don't view that as like an accomplishment, I'm never going to be happy. Yeah. This is like something that Taylor Swift said, like she's won every single award, every single Grammy, and she was asking herself, what's next? You know? So when I watch a documentary, I'm not the biggest Taylor Swift fan, but when she said that she feels like it will never be enough, like there's like she's reached a ceiling, like she's had everything and she still wasn't fulfilled and happy. I thought to myself, I don't ever want to get to that point where I've had everything and I still am not happy where I'm at. Yeah. So every day I'm just so grateful that I'm able to do this. I'm able to share my story, and little by little, progress is progress. And there's like, even if it doesn't feel like you're moving forward. So just like keep going.
Yeah. As a society, we always ask, oh, how's this person? Why is this person miserable? Why is this person depressed, right? Anxious. Like those are just buzzwords now. I'm depressed, I'm anxious. And you know what? Maybe that may be true. Like maybe as a society, like as our generation, maybe we are just a little bit more depressed, a little bit more anxious, right? But nobody ever asks, why is this person happy? Why is this person so full of joy? And I read this book that it's Paul Conti, and his brother passed away, took his own life, and he was left with, he was in a business, I think, and is in an occupation, and it changed his entire life trajectory. He became a psychologist, and he wanted to know what makes people happy. And he talked to the people that had it rough too, and he came to the conclusion of two things: agency and gratitude, which are actually two things that you have.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah. You're very agentic, you're very thankful. And those are like the biggest weapons towards feeling miserable, is feeling you're in control, like reminding yourself that, what can I do? And looking at the things that you are thankful for. I'm thankful for being able to produce records and songs and follow my dreams. Even if it doesn't amalgamate to something phenomenal, I still tried. But I read a lot of books about high performers. I'm obsessed with highly agentic people, people that get after it, grab life by the balls, and just squeeze it.
Yeah.
And you know what? A lot of billionaires, a lot of celebrities, a lot of these artists, all these moguls, a lot of them aren't happy. Like what makes a person accumulate that much fame, money, status to prove what? It's not healthy. It's not healthy to be famous, right? Like I want to be one day. I want to be rich, famous, I want to use it for good. But like something is making that person do those things, maybe because they don't feel enough. But if you constantly remind yourself that, the biggest antidote that I have, because I struggle with that. I wake up every day sometimes and I'm like, I don't feel enough. I gotta release more podcasts. I gotta have more friends. I gotta feel more connected to my family. I gotta run more marathons. I gotta work out more. But then it's like, wait, I've already won.
Yeah.
This is right now. Somebody would kill to be in my position, and 5 years ago, I would have wanted to be here. So why am I bitching? I'm bitching because the mind's constantly unsatisfied and it's just looking for things to complain about, to feel miserable for. Because it's like our brains are productivity machines.
Yeah.
We're not content, happiness, satisfaction machines.
We're meant to work.
Yeah, we're meant to just work, and not really be in the moment.
Yeah.
But it's being cognizant of that time and our nature and going, hey, the negativity is just so much more powerful. I need to take some time to look at what I have and look at the things that I've gone through, all the traumas, all the heartbreaks, all the self-doubt, and going, I'm growing and I'm trying.
Yeah. Like I was like what you were saying earlier about like just being grateful and just going after it. The way I grew up in the Philippines, like we didn't have very much, and that's why we moved to Canada, and my parents worked really hard, and I'm sure you have a similar story, and a lot of like immigrants around the world have a similar story. The fact that you can buy a microphone, you have a room that can host something like this, you have nice chairs, you have a nice camera, some nice lighting equipment. Not a lot of people have access to that.
Yeah.
The fact that I live in Edmonton and I'm able to be an artist, not a lot of people can be in Edmonton and do that. And not a lot of people have the ability to write grants or connect with the right people, So I think that everything is just perspective. And even as I was driving today, I just, my life right now is not what I thought it was going to be. I thought that I would be engaged and be married to my college sweetheart. But then I'd stop myself and be like, you drive a nicer car now. You started to save some money. You've always wanted 2 cats and you finally have 2 cats. You live on your own and you have a job that has health benefits, paid vacation, and a music that sustains itself. You are living the life that many artists would kill for. And I just had to keep reminding myself, you are so much farther than when you started. And I keep thinking to my younger self when I was like a little kid, I'm exactly and maybe even more than my younger self could comprehend. The fact that I am alive right now, my younger self would not even believe that. And that there would come a day where the thought of like not wanting to be here would not exist is something. And I always just like remind myself that your younger self had always wanted to be the hot, single, rich auntie. And I think you're becoming one. And I just, you got to make your younger self proud. And like I said, like you have all these and for you, it might not be much, but think of yourself, especially like growing up in the Philippines and like the people that live there, like they don't have these things. They don't have access to these things. They don't have the ability to just like pick up a shift at like McDonald's or Starbucks or like pick a serving job and just, save up a little bit of money to like buy nice mics or like a MacBook, And it really is, there's a lot of, you can see things in different perspective, especially when you've come from nothing. And I hope to one day make it and to still look at things the same way.
Yeah, and you will. You're
hope
gonna
so.
make it, and I really do appreciate the level of gratitude and a lot of growth coming from your heart. It seems like you would make a phenomenal role model. You probably already
I hope
are.
so.
You are a great role model.
I mean, you know what? I don't make the best decisions all the time, but I think
who does?
I would say in the grand scheme of things I'm doing, I can make myself proud.
Yeah, no, I'm incredibly thankful to be here in Canada, and I just like looking back as well to like my younger self. There's just like I was just a kid that was like lost. I didn't know what was going on because my parents were going through a divorce, and there was a lot of like abuse that I went through, and it's like I want to go back and give myself a hug. Like, hey, everything's okay. You're lost. Yeah, just like a little kid with a bowl cut. And his mom would not put him in the sun because then fears of turning brown.
Right. I still get that.
If you could give advice to your younger self, what would you say or do?
We talked about this yesterday and I had an answer, but just now I'm like, would that even work in my favor if I like
your younger self? Would you like what the like, what is?
I was gonna say, be very, very patient, but also a lot of the things that I have now and have achieved in my short amount of time being an artist, I don't think I could have achieved if I wasn't if I was patient, because I really just use my worst trait as my best one, and that's like being stubborn. But be patient with the growth you're having and the journey that you are taking, because it's gonna take a really long time and it's taking a really long time still. So just hang in there.
Yeah, no, I will keep my eyes peeled for you in your journey. It's really exciting.
I'll keep my eyes peeled for yours too.
Thank you. But yeah, do you have any last words for those people that might be struggling in the creative industry and they want to give up?
Keep going, because maybe you're like closer than what you think you are, and just be the first person to bet on yourself.
Yeah. Thank you so much
thank you for having me.
That was really fun. Long-term podcast. Yeah. No, I really see the hustle. I think for a lot of people that aren't involved in like the creative space, like who don't create art, whether it be like just painting or drawing or content creation, music, some sort of thing where they want to make it like a living, right? People don't get how tough this space is.
Mm-hmm.
And, even like planning all this out, right?
Mm-hmm.
Communicating with you.
Mm-hmm.
You've had to make a bunch of adjustments because, with your cats and the
Yeah.
landlord and like the music and
Yeah.
appointments and performances, thank you for making it fit for 6:30.
Thank you for having me
and
and making it work and being so accommodating as well.
Yeah, I could see you going far in life, and
Thanks.
hey, this is just the beginning.
I hope so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And as always, to everyone listening and watching, there is a place for you in this chaotic world. Never lose hope, strengthen your faith, and keep it long term. HAIDEE, everyone. Peace.
Why is it called long term?
Because everything that is worth having is in the long term. Okay. Nothing worth having comes easy.
True. Okay.